I figured we could get on here and do a little Sunday reset. So if you're not doing anything right now, feel free to join me for today's yoga practice. Um, I think today maybe we'll do some balancing, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what the vibe is. This is a Sunday reset, so we will begin today's practice in a child's pose. So if you've never done a child's pose before, I'll meet you there. But before we get started, I want to say that everything that I say is a suggestion. Please listen to your body before you listen to me. And we're going to move slowly. And yeah, that's really it. Good news, I don't think I told y'all yet. I might have. I start teaching yoga tomorrow at a university. So I'm really excited about that, to be able to teach in person consistently. But I think the biggest difference, teaching virtually, obviously, and teaching in person, is going to be less demoing and more, walking around the class observing students. And because I've been teaching online for so long, I'm used to demoing the whole class. So I wanted to come here and do a practice that, I'm used to practicing with you all, but I'm also looking forward to stepping into the role of really being more of a teacher and an observer of participants. So, yeah, that's it. So, like I said, uh, we're going to take it pretty easy today, I think. I'm still trying to get my stamina back up. Uh, but yeah, so if you want blocks could be useful today. I'm not sure if you can hear the background music, but I think it's at a good level. In case you want to turn your own music on, that's completely fine. But yeah, we'll get into it. And I know y'all are like, why are you always doing yoga at a different setting? I'm just trying to find what room, what vibe fits best for me. And this is my office. And I've gotten rid of a lot of the furniture that was in here. So now I have space to practice in here. And, this feels comfortable to me. But we're going to get started. If you are expecting, I would suggest not to do this practice. There are plenty of prenatal yoga teachers on YouTube. So I would suggest you find someone who specializes in prenatal yoga if you are expecting. But let's get into it. Grab your water, and we're going to make our way to the floor for our child's pose. So to get to your child's pose, we're going to get onto the floor in all fours, bringing our big toes together to touch. Knees as wide as a mat or wider, depending on if you need to make space for your belly. And we'll extend our palms out ahead of us. And on our exhale, we'll exhale, letting our bum sink back towards our heels, allowing our head to rest on our mat, our forehead. And when you get to your child's pose, we're going to take notice of our breath as we inhale deeply through the nose and exhale fully and completely out of our mouth. And let's do that again. Inhale deeply through our nose and exhale fully and completely out of our mouths. And let's do that breath again. We'll inhale deeply through our nose, letting our air fill up our belly. And exhale fully and completely out of our mouth. Good job. And when you're ready, we'll bring our breath back to your regular breathing cycle as you inhale through your nose and exhale out of your nose or mouth, whatever feels good in your body. And when you're ready, I invite you to bring your awareness to your forehead, noticing your forehead resting on the mat, and noticing any tension you may be holding there. And if on your exhale you can soften And if your eyes are closed or if your eyes are open, maybe you close your eyes or find a soft gaze, gazing at the mat beneath you. But noticing where you can soften in your forehead and in your eyes. And as you continue to inhale and exhale, on your next exhale, I invite you to drop your awareness down to your mouth. Noticing if you're holding any tension in your lips. And if on your next exhale, you can soften your lips to relax. Noticing if you're clenching your jaw or if your tongue is at the roof of your mouth. And on your next exhale, relaxing your tongue to rest at the base of your mouth, relaxing your jaw, finding softness in your face. And as you inhale and exhale, on your next exhale, I invite you to drop your breath down to your chest, your heart center. Noticing the rise and the fall of your chest as you inhale and exhale. And when you're ready, we'll take the palms of our hands, still remaining in our child's pose. We'll take the palms of our hands and bring them together to touch. And on our inhale, we'll inhale our palms up, letting our thumbs rest against the crown of our head. And as you inhale and exhale, I invite you to take this moment to set an intention for your practice today. Today's practice is a Sunday reset, but this practice is timeless. You can practice it any day, anytime, whatever feels good for you. So I invite you to set an intention for today's practice. And that could look like whatever your body, your heart is asking you for right now. For me, I feel like I'm beginning a new journey. So maybe my intention for today's practice can be I'm confident. Confident in how I show up, confident in how I teach, and confident in what's next. So I'm going to stop talking so you can set your intention for your practice. And when you feel complete in setting your intention, on your next exhale, we'll exhale and release our hands back down to the mat. And we'll prepare to invite movement into our bodies for our practice. So on your next inhale, we'll inhale, pushing up into our tabletop position. Hands wide, wrists beneath our elbows, beneath our shoulders, knees beneath our hips. And you can have your feet, the tops of your feet planted on the ground, or you can curl your toes, whatever feels good in your body. And we'll invite a cat-cow into our practice. So our inhale, we'll inhale, open our chest, poke our tail out, head comes forward, cow. And exhale, curling our back, letting our head hang heavy, tucking our pelvis in, cat. And you can continue that movement according to your own breath. On your inhale, poking your tail out, chest come forward. And exhale, curling your back in, letting your head hang heavy, tucking your pelvis in. And we're taking our time, we're moving slowly, and we're listening to our bodies. And remember, you can take a pause whenever you feel like it, or you can go back into child's pose. That's our resting pose. So find it whenever you feel like you need to throughout our practice today. And when you're ready, we'll find stillness in our tabletop. And on your next exhale, step that right foot back behind us, landing on the ball of our right foot. And you can hold here as you inhale and exhale, or you can find a nice little pulse movement going from the ball of your foot to your tippy toes. Remembering to sync each breath with a movement. So you may exhale, land on the ball of your foot, and inhale, come up to your tippy toes. And when you're ready, we'll find stillness, and we'll bring that right knee back in next to our left knee. And we'll go ahead and sit back on our legs so that we can give our wrists a nice, gentle roll out. And when you're ready, we'll go back into tabletop. And we'll find our cat-cow again. Before we do that same thing on the opposite side. And finding stillness in our cat-cow. And when you're ready, we'll exhale, step that left foot back, landing on the ball of our left foot. And you can hold here, pushing away from your mat. If you want, you can add a little pulse in your movement. As you exhale, land on the ball of your foot. Inhale, coming up to your tippy. Exhale. Inhale. Moving according to your own breath. And when you're ready, we'll bring that left knee back in and we'll sit back on our heels once again. And gently roll out our wrist. And we'll come back into our tabletop. Exhale that right leg back, landing on our tippy toes. Landing on the ball of our right foot. And this time, if you want to, you can leave your foot here, or you can inhale that right foot up off the ground, toes flex towards the ground, and hold here. Making sure that your hips are in line with the mat. If you find that your hips are opening up, you might be lifting your leg a little too high. So you can hold here. And if you want a little more, you can take your left hand and extend that out ahead of you. And if you want even more than that, you can exhale, bringing your knee and your elbow to touch. Extend. Exhale, bringing your knee and elbow to touch. Inhale, extend. Exhale. There you go. And let's do 2 more. And exhale, bring your hand back to the mat. Bring your knee back in. Big toes together to touch. And we'll go back down into a child's pose. Good job. And when you're ready, we'll inhale back up into our tabletop and do that same thing on the opposite side. So feel free to find a cat-cow before if your body is asking you for a little more awakening in your spine. And when you're ready, we'll find stillness in your cat-cow and exhale, step that left foot back, landing on the ball of your left foot. You can stay here, or you can inhale that left foot up, toes flex down towards your mat, pushing away from your mat, making sure your hips are not opening up. If they are, your leg is too high. And you can stay here. If you want a little more, you can extend that right hand, letting your head be an extension of your neck. And if you want a little more, you can exhale, bring that knee and elbow to touch. Good job. Let's do 2 more. And exhale, drop your hand and your foot down. And we'll push back down into our child's pose. ready, on your next inhale, we'll inhale back up to tabletop, and we'll prepare for our first downward dog of today's practice. So to get to our downward dog, we'll extend our hands out a little bit more, bring our toes back, curl our toes under, and on our exhale, we'll exhale slowly, pushing our tail up towards the sky and heels back towards our mat, and we'll pedal out our dog, letting our head hang heavy. As you pedal out your dog, maybe you look under your armpit. And then you'll find stillness in your down dog, and we'll slowly walk our feet to meet our hands in our forward fold. We'll inhale, halfway lift, shoulders away from our ears. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep our arms up overhead. Bring our palms together to touch. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, dropping our palms to meet the ground. Now you could be fancy, do your chaturanga to baby cobra, but me, I'm gonna get down on my knees. And the knees, chest, chin, elbows tucked in. Inhale, cobra. And exhale, back down to the mat, tucking my toes in. Exhale, pushing back up into our down dog. Pedaling out your dog, letting your head hang heavy. And when you're ready, we'll find stillness in our dog and walk our feet back up to meet our hands. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, shoulders away from our ears. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep our arms up overhead. Bring our palms together to touch. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bring our palms back down to the ground. You can do your plank to cobra. I'm gonna do knees, chest, chin. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, back down to the mat. Inhale, curling my toes. And exhale, pushing back up into our down dog. Finding stillness. Let's walk up to meet our hands. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. And we'll hang out in this forward fold for a second. Finding a slight bend in our knees, letting our head hang heavy. You can find a gentle sway in your fold. I'm just realizing there's broken glass on my yoga mat. I got a boo-boo. Looking for a tissue. You stay in your forward fold. I need to find a tissue. And when you're ready, in your forward fold, we'll find a gentle sway from left to right. And on your inhale, you're going to slowly rise up as you continue to sway, letting your head be the last thing to come up. And once you get to the top, we'll find stillness in our mountain pose. Feet hip width apart, pelvis tucked in, chest open, shoulders back, mountain. Good job, everybody. And we'll just take a moment in our mountain pose to reconnect with our inhale and our exhale, and to also reconnect with our intention for today's practice. And when you're ready, we'll inhale our arms up overhead, bringing our palms to touch, and we'll interlace our fingers, letting our pointer fingers point towards the sky, shoulders away from our ears. We'll take an inhale together, and exhale, lean to one side. Inhale back to center. Exhale, we'll lean to the opposite. Inhale back to center. Exhale, baby back bend. Inhale back up to center. And we'll exhale, release everything down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, bring our palms down to the ground. And let's bring both our knees down to the ground. And we're going to practice some balancing. So when you're ready, on your next exhale, we'll exhale, step that right foot back, and we'll turn our right foot so that our toes are facing the long edge of our mat, landing on the bottom of our right foot. And we'll bring our left hand in line with our knee so that we have a strong base pushing away from our mat, wrist underneath our elbow, underneath our shoulder, and we'll prepare for a supported side body plank. So this is not a full plank because we're going to keep this leg down. So tucking our pelvis in, keeping our core tight. On your inhale, we're going to inhale that right hand up towards the sky, looking straight ahead. And remember to breathe. Good job. And when you're ready, we'll exhale, drop that hand back down, bring our knee back in to meet our other knee, and we'll do that same thing on the opposite side. So exhale, stepping our left foot back, landing on the ball of our left foot. And you'll take that left foot, turn your toes to face the long edge of your mat, landing on the bottom of your foot. And finding a line from your right hand to your knee, finding a strong, steady base. And once you get there, we'll inhale, that left hand up towards the sky, pelvis tucked in, pushing away from your mat, and making sure not all of your weight is in your wrists, but you want to make sure your your legs are also holding your body up as well. Good job. And I see y'all in here. Y'all can like the video. And exhale. Bring that left hand back in. Right knee back in. And we'll bring our big toes together to touch. And we'll exhale back down into our child's pose. And when you're ready, we'll get right back to it. Coming back up into tabletop, curl our toes, exhale, our tail up towards the sky, heels back, down dog. And when you're ready, we'll walk our feet back up to our hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep our arms up overhead. And exhale our arms back down to our sides, finding our mountain pose. And from here, we're going to continue our balancing practices. If you have water, feel free to take a sip of water. And from here, I don't know if there's a name for this. I learned it from one of my yoga teachers. But on your next exhale, going to exhale your right knee up, keeping your right knee bent, toes flexed, goalpost arms. And then inhale, letting your right leg extend behind you, letting your hands extend forward. You can always bring your toes to touch the mat if that feels better. Exhale, knee bent, goalpost arms. And inhale, extending that right leg, extending your arms. So I invite you to continue that according to your own breath as you exhale and extend, or inhale and extend, and exhale, bend your knee. And let's do one more. And this time, as you extend, we'll bring those right toes to land on the mat. And if you have blocks, we'll take our blocks, set them up next to us because we're about to do a warrior 3. So from here, we had our feet, we landed our toes on the ground, and we'll exhale, come up into our warrior 3, extending that right foot back behind us, toes flexed, pushing away from our mat. If you could do a little more, you can, bring your palms in to touch on your chest, or you can extend your hands wherever you're at in your practice today, be there. And when you're ready, we'll exhale, bring that right foot back down to the mat. And we'll slowly come back up into our mountain and do that same thing on the opposite side. So exhale, goalpost arms, lifting your left foot up off the ground, knee bent. And inhale, extend that left leg back, extend your arms forward. Exhale, bending our knee and our arms. And inhale, extending. Woo! And it's okay if you're not, as balanced. And you may notice that you have more balance on one side than you do on the other side. And then when you're ready, we'll extend those left toes. Drop those back down onto the mat. And then we'll prepare for Warrior 3 on this side. So inhale, lifting that left leg off the ground. You can stay here. You can use your blocks. You can bring your hands, prayer hands to your chest, or extend your hands out in front of you, wherever you're at in your practice today. Whoa. And when you're ready, we'll exhale. Bring that left foot back down to the mat. And we'll slowly inhale and roll back up into our mountain. Good job, everyone. And let's take a moment in our mountain before we move on. Let's see what time it is. Okay. So how about we slowly find our way to a seat? So however you need to get there. Finding your way to a seated position. And let's go ahead and keep our legs extended. So once you find your seat, we'll invite a boat pose into our practice. So doing some more balancing. So bringing the bottom of your feet to the mat, knees bent, core tight. You can stay here. You can extend your arms like this, lean back. And if you want a little more, you can inhale your feet up off the, this is a little hard for me, keeping your core tight and breathing in your boat pose. And feel free to take a pause whenever you want and then get right back into it. Whew. Let's try one more. Let's see if we can hold it for 3 breaths. Woo. 3. All right. Let's make our way to our backs. And keeping our knees bent before we find final resting pose, we'll just find a couple more movements as we lay on our backs. So inviting a gentle sway with your knees. And maybe you sync your knee sway with your breath. As you exhale your knees to one side, inhale your knees back to center, and exhale them to the opposite side. And when you're ready, you'll find stillness with your knees in the center. And exhale, bringing your knees to your chest, making sure to give yourself space if you need it. So maybe you open your knees a little wider, but bringing your knees to your chest. And we'll inhale and our exhale here, making sure we're breathing. And on your exhale, with your knees still to your chest, you're going to wrap your hands around your right leg, your right knee, and exhale your left leg, straighten it out ahead of you, landing on the mat. And we'll hold this pose here. And feel free, if it's in your practice today, you can offer yourself a spinal twist by taking that right leg and crossing it over your left leg and finding a twist here. Only if it's in your practice today. And if you're in a twist, we'll come back up to center, hugging that right knee in. And on your exhale, we'll release that right leg and inhale that left leg up, holding that right knee, extending that right leg. And if you want a little more, you can offer yourself a spinal twist by bringing your left leg over your right leg. And if you're in your twist, we'll bring our knee back to center, holding our left knee into our chest. And on our exhale, we'll exhale and bring our right knee up, hugging both of our legs. And maybe you sway from side to side, giving your lower back a little massage. And when you're ready, we'll release our feet back down to the mat, extending our legs back down to the mat, and we will find our final resting pose. So we're going to find our final resting pose for about 6 minutes. Can you all do 6 minutes of rest? So find a final resting pose that works for you. And when that 6 minutes is up, I'll reintroduce my voice back into the space to close out our practice today. wiggling your fingers and toes, noticing your body on the mat beneath you. And we're going to prepare to move to a seat. So if you're laying on your back, we're going to move slowly to our seat. So bending your right knee and letting your right foot land on the mat. And you'll take your right arm and inhale it up overhead, landing beside you. And on your exhale, you're going to turn over to your right side, finding a fetal position. And from here, you're going to take your left hand, put your left palm on the mat, extend your left leg out ahead of you, and push up into your seat, letting your head be the last thing to come up. And once you find your seat, we'll inhale our arms up overhead. And exhale, drop our hands down to our sides. Inhale, palms up overhead. And exhale, dropping our hands down to the side. And we'll inhale our arms up overhead again. And this time on our exhale, we'll exhale and shake out anything that we weren't able to work through in our practice today. Shaking out those Sunday scaries. And this time on our inhale, we'll inhale, bring our palms together to touch at the top, and exhale, palms to chest. Thank you all for practicing with me today. This was a Sunday reset. It's been a minute since I've done one of these practices, but I'm hoping to be consistent again now that I'm stepping into a new role as teaching in person too. So it's been great to practice with you all. Thank you so much for joining me today. Make sure you like the video, like, comment, and subscribe for more yoga practices. And we'll take an inhale together. And exhale, forward fold, hinging at our hips. Inhale back up. And exhale, dropping our hands down to our lap. Thank you all so much. This was Sunday Reset. I'm Misha. This is Yoga with Meesh. And I'll catch you all next time.